As a young girl, Joan Murrell Owens fell in love with the sea. On fishing trips she took with her family near their home in Miami, she watched with wonder as the water changed colors, observed the gentle manatees and the playful otters, and wondered about the countless creatures hidden just beneath the ocean surface. Joan knew she wanted to be a marine biologist, but as a black girl living in the segregated South, the path to her dream held an overwhelming amount of obstacles. After a winding career, Joan Murrell Owens came back to her love of marine biology. She did research with the Smithsonian Institute, earned her PhD, and discovered 3 brand new species of coral along the way. When you think about corals, you probably picture a coral reef. Shallow waters full of brightly colored structures with lacy shapes and strange patterns, and tropical fish flitting in between them. Coral reefs are a hugely important and diverse kind of ecosystem. They're home to thousands of species and plants and animals, and they can even protect the land from storms coming in off the ocean. But corals don't only live in warm tropical waters. They can live all over the world, even in cold, deep parts of the ocean. Corals are a very strange type of creature. Most corals are what's called a composite organism, which means that they're actually made up of thousands of tiny organisms instead of a single living creature. In the case of coral, these tiny organisms are small animals called polyps that live symbiotically with single-celled organisms called zooxanthellae. Polyps are soft, tube-like animals with a central mouth and small tentacles. In stony corals, the type of coral that Dr. Owens specialized in, the polyps grow themselves a hard exoskeleton. The hard, stony skeleton, combined with the colorful zooxanthellae, are what come together to form the interesting shapes and colors of coral. The zooxanthellae are crucial for the life cycle of many corals, but they're also incredibly vulnerable to the effects of climate change. When the temperature of oceans changes by even just a few degrees, it can devastate the population of the microscopic zooxanthellae in the corals. This causes corals to lose their vivid colors, a condition known as coral bleaching. This eventually can cause the corals to die of starvation, because without the zooxanthellae, they can't get the nutrients they need. To protect our incredible diversity of corals, we need to take action to address climate change and maintain the health of our oceans. Corals can come in a huge range of shapes. They can look like branching fingers, like big sheets, or like the wrinkly petals of a flower. What's more, the same species of coral can grow in many different shapes depending on where it's growing, the temperature of the water, or even how fast the ocean is moving around it. This can make it really hard to tell different species of coral apart. It's often not enough to just look at a sample of coral. Scientists need to deeply study the characteristics of a specimen in order to classify it. This is the kind of careful work that Dr. Owens did that led to her coral discoveries. Joan Murrell Owens was born in Miami, Florida in 1933. She spent her childhood reading about marine life and the scientists who studied it. But when she entered college in 1950, she learned there weren't opportunities at her school for either women or African Americans in the marine sciences. So she majored in fine art and later got a master's degree in guidance counseling and reading. For the next 15 years, Joan had an impressive career, teaching, working with children in hospitals, and designing an educational program that would become the Upward Bound program. But she still held on to her dream of being a marine biologist, a dream she finally decided to pursue at the age of 37. She enrolled in college all over again, studying her own interdisciplinary program combining zoology and geology. After she finished her second undergrad degree, Owens wanted to do her own research on corals, which involved scuba diving to study corals and collect them from their natural environment. Unfortunately, it turned out that she carried the traits for sickle cell anemia, a disease which would make it too dangerous for her to scuba dive. So instead, she took on a project studying century-old coral samples in the archives of the Smithsonian Institute. Joan Murrell Owens eventually earned her PhD in geology at the age of 51 and became a professor at Howard University. Dr. Owens not only achieved her lifelong dream of being a marine biologist, but she was also a dedicated, passionate educator who loved teaching as much as she loved research. Over the course of her career, Dr. Owens discovered 1 new genus and 3 new species of coral. The new species Dr. Owens discovered were small, only around the size of a quarter. They were a type of coral that's known as button corals. Button corals are unique because they're solitary. They're made of just a single polyp instead of many polyps living together. Button corals still need the single-celled zooxanthellae to photosynthesize and get energy from the sun, but they also use their tentacles to grab small amounts of food, like a sea anemone. Dr. Owens was able to discover these new species based only on specimens of coral that had already been collected and preserved nearly 100 years prior. Her work in the archives required a careful attention to detail and an extensive knowledge of marine biology. As a kid, Joan Murrell Owens dreamed of what was hidden beneath the sea, but her research shows that there's still tons to discover, hidden inside records at a local museum or library.